Let me start by asking you about Egypt's role in delivering humanitarian aid to Gaza amid the current crisis, and what challenges do you think it is facing from the Israeli restrictions?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me here. Egypt stays the only solid one with the stance in the Palestinian cause, even though some other countries try to play a role in this cause also. But we see today live from conferences, diplomatic conferences, and meetings to try to resolve this issue, because there hasn't been any stronger supporter to Palestine than Egypt, and so Egypt tries to prepare everything that it has, like diplomatic relations and international relations, and even trade relations with the great countries or the larger countries to reach. To be able to pressure Israel to allow humanitarian aid to enter Gaza on a much wider level than what's happening today. And Egypt, the aid that enters from the Rafah crossing into Gaza, they are Egyptian aid with like an 80%.
What, from your
And
point
so
of
this
view?
show, we
Right. From your point of view, what role can the international diplomatic efforts play in influencing a ceasefire, if it can be reached, and definitely a ceasefire for the reconstruction of this devastated strip?
Egypt confirmed that within the first hour of a ceasefire, it will start to send invitations for this conference, and they will have an international box to receive donations and aid to start the reconstruction, and that this reconstruction will only be for the Palestinian people, and that the Gaza Strip needs hundreds of thousands of people to be able to reconstruct various places in Gaza. And so Egypt, when it started planning for this vision in last January, they were actually dismantling the USA's vision to support only Israel and not send any aid to Gaza, and have Gaza turned into the Israel's compounds, and have a greater Israel. And so the reconstruction conference that will be planned will have a clear plan to reconstruct Gaza and give Gaza the aid and money needed. And so the plan they reached in January 2025 showed that Egypt, Qatar, and the USA will be responsible for the reconstruction of Gaza. And so Egypt has always been working under the international law and according to the international rules. And this conference will be according to the Western want to play a role in this reconstruction along with some Arab countries too.
Well, Hamas has said that Netanyahu is deliberately obstructing the ceasefire negotiations and the Daytonese exchange deal. Now, what's your take on that?
Actually, Netanyahu or Hamas are both, they both keep lying and have some untrue things from both sides, and so it is the greater country's role to mediate and end this children doing, because yes, Israel has killed thousands of people, but Hamas gave them the reason to do this. And so if Hamas today, we are talking about releasing of all the refugees in Gaza, and so if they released the refugees and the prisoners, then Israel would be out of justifications for everything that it's doing, the hunger, the starvation, and the strikes. And so I think that USA, Biden's administration or Trump's administration are both able to, have an order from the White House to Tel Aviv to stop this war and this genocide. And so any relation between USA and Israel is just propaganda and some kind of show, because Israel is actually the USA's 50 for and so
Right. So, do you think that the U.S. Involvement or the U.S. pressures would shape his approach towards the peace negotiations or even dealing with the humanitarian crisis?
At first, we need to talk about if the USA is actually serious about these pressure, or are they talking, they have to make one in the media and one behind the scenes, because they sometimes give sympathetic statements about what's happening in Gaza. But for example, in the White House, they are talking with Netanyahu about speeding reaching their goal. If did they mean ending this soon, or do they mean having conferences to recognize Palestine in New York in the next September? And so, anyways, America talks. It has two sides or two faces, and up till now, America has no will to actually reach a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. And so the diplomatic efforts in Egypt, they are not just mediating between Israel and Hamas, they are actually trying to persuade the American negotiator that enough is enough and that there are no other procedures to protect Israel.
Now, do you think the UN's declaration of famine in Gaza, this report that we've seen yesterday, has reshaped the international perception and response to this conflict?
A very important question, because lots of, or like the Arab mentality, they don't really take the international laws and diplomatic laws seriously, or they are just looking at the idea of war and the consequences of a war. And so when the UN declared that there is a famine in the Gaza Strip, and within this decision there are some other things to look at. And so yes, they will be responsible for holding Israel and USA responsible for the war and for the famine. And so if Israel and USA say that there is no famine in Gaza or that things are under control, this is not true. And there is, Israel is blocking aid either from the Rafah crossing or from other borders as well.